Okay, there we go. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for your time today. Just some background that this is our fourth and our final dialogue on International Day of Peace. We started the 4 days to celebrate the people that we keep in our hearts and in our minds, being Nelson Mandela, Martin Luther King, and Mahatma Gandhi, because they left footprints in sand for us to follow. And we afford them that respect to always recognize and never forget what they did for freedom. All the young people that are joining us today, you're working on the ground, you're working with people. We know that there is great suffering, there's a lot of conflict, there are wars, but we need to share with you how much we appreciate your own support to those communities and the work that you are doing. So this is also a tribute to the young people that are taking a direction to say, what can I do? How can I impact some change in my community? So thank you so much for all that you are busy doing. We're deeply, deeply honored today to have Professor with us. And I'm going to now ask Juliet to introduce Professor, and then we will hand over. Juliet, are you ready? Juliet? Just give her a, she's in South Africa, so please just give her a little second. They have power problem. Just give me 1 second. Okay, so I don't want to waste any time. I think Juliet's got a little bit of problem. So on behalf of all the members and the leadership of Global Peace Led Talk, it's a great, great honor for us to introduce Professor PLO Lumumba from Kenya. Professor is an advocate of the High Courts of Kenya and Tanganyika, and he's also a certified mediator. He's the founder of the PLO Lumumba Foundation and a consultant with Lumumba and Lumumba Advocates. Professor Lumumba has an LLM degree in law at the University of Nairobi. He's also a doctor of law in law of the sea at the University of Ghent in Belgium. I just want to share with you, I'm going to post Dr. Lumumba's bio, but this is a man that I have the deepest and the greatest respect for because of what he is busy sharing in the world, his focus and his vision on change and what we all need to do together for our survival and for this world to find peace so that we can support a future for our youth. They need a future. We have to change the way we are working now, and we have to start impacting leaders that are causing all this terrible conflict in the war, because it's not good for us. Professor Lumumba, I'm handing over to you now because I know your time is precious. God bless you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let me first start by thanking you all for putting together this conversation. This is a conversation that we must hold. I'm talking to you and we are holding this conversation at a time when in different parts of the world, there are all manner of conflicts. You look at the continent of Africa, in Sudan, in Cameroon, in Amhara region, in Ethiopia, in Europe, in Ukraine, in Nagorno-Karabakh, and you go to the Pacific, you find the problem in Haiti. The world is convulsing. And the world is asking the question, how can we bring an end to this madness? And if you remember the immortal words of Mahatma Gandhi, he said, an eye for an eye will only make the world blind. And that is what we are doing to ourselves. And Mahatma was so clear by saying, there is no way to peace. Peace is the way. And one always hopes that those immortal words will be given practical meaning, but yet the history of the world is that we are quick to forget. And every time when we think we have appealed to reason and that men and women will sheath their swords and break their guns, we hear the sophistication of more guns and death and pain and suffering. And events such as this serve only to remind us that amidst the gloom, there must be glimmer. Amid the gloom and hopelessness, there must be men and women whose voices must remain alive, even if they are not heard at their purest tones. Many of us will remember that conflict is as old as human beings. That notwithstanding, the voices of reason have always been alive, even when the world was in conflict. Whether it was the wars that were characterized as world wars or the civil wars or the fratricidal wars that we see in different countries, the message has always been one, that all wars end with peace, which means that peace is the ideal that all of us have a divine duty to pursue, and to pursue without ever doubting that ultimately good will prevail over evil. So those of you who are present here must, in the nature of things, ask themselves, what is it that we can do and what have our predecessors in time done over the years? We are, in a manner of speaking, also reminding ourselves of some of the immortal words of the men whom we celebrate. I so very much remember the words of Martin Luther King Jr. At one time when he was in the midst of the struggle for equality in the United States, he delivered a speech entitled, "Sometimes I Feel Discouraged." And he said sometimes he felt discouraged when on a daily basis he's under the threat of war, on a daily basis is criticized by people who think that by preaching peace he was doing the right thing. But then he said that the Spirit sometimes lifts him up even when he's in that state of depression. And you can remember his many words of passion during the Vietnam War, when he was reminding America that you cannot, in the nature of things, control the world through intimidation. So this occasion reminds us that we must leave the spirit of the likes of Mahatma Gandhi. You'll also remember the words of Nelson Mandela when he, after being in jail for 27 years, came out and said that we must learn to live with one another. We may not like our jailers, but the peace that we seek is only achievable if we have selective memories. And I think it is Desmond PLO Tutu of South Africa who said, there is no future without forgiveness. But when you choose to be a warrior for peace and justice, you must always remember that violence and conflict has also become an industry, and that there are those who will engage in conflict in order to ensure that their industry remains alive. And this generation and generations yet to be born must be reminded at all times that the continent of Africa, the continent of Asia, of Europe or America, or the Caribbeans or Latin America will only thrive and realize their potential in all human endeavors when we have peace. The peace which the Bible says, the peace that surpasses all understanding. And it is men and women who must work at that peace. So on this occasion, my plea to you, the younger generation, is to remember that war and conflict has always occasioned pain. Right now in Sudan, young men and women have lost opportunities. Old men and women are dislocated from their homes. They are refugees in lands which they are unfamiliar with. Health systems have collapsed. Education systems have collapsed. In Cameroon, in the southern Cameroon or Ambazonia, young men and women have not gone to school for many years. In the Sahel, in northern Mali, that is the situation. In Haiti, because of the conflict and the gangs, people are not going to school. In Nagorno-Karabakh, in Armenia, people are not going to school. In Ukraine, all that had been built over the years is being destroyed. And one can go on and on. And sometimes when we say that we are created in the image of God, one wonders, are we truly created in the image of God, that we may visit pain upon others, that we may dehumanize fellow human beings? But yet there is a sense in which the desire and the quest for peace must never die. And you young men and women who are gathered here virtually and otherwise, today is your day to introspect, to take a solemn vow and remind ourselves that we have work to do. It is Martin Niemöller who during the World War II said that we cannot afford the luxury of doing nothing in the face of adversity, because when they came for the Jews, I did nothing because I was not a Jew. When they came for the trade unionists, I did nothing because I was not a trade unionist. When they came for the communists, I did nothing because I was not a communist. And when they came for me, there was nobody to say anything. So we have a duty at all times, whenever we see injustice anywhere, to raise our voices. That is how I understand Martin Luther King Jr. when he said, injustice anywhere is injustice everywhere. And we must be our brothers and sisters' keeper. That is what we must do. And I pray and hope that during your discussions, you will use the history that we have, the experiences that we have gathered over the years. Only one thing, peace. Easier said than done, but we must keep up the spirit, because history has demonstrated not once, not twice, but times without number, that is only in an environment of sustainable peace that human beings can achieve their endeavors. I wish you the very best in the knowledge that you are true warriors for peace. But always remember that even warriors have their moments of doubt and their moments of discouragement. But when that happens to you, you must always find the inner strength and the synergy to tell you the one message, that even gold only becomes gold after it has gone through the furnace of fire. The furnace of trials and tribulations is the lot of those who seek peace. God bless you and have a good session this afternoon and always. Thank you.
Wow, that is quite nice. I want to use this medium to say thank you to Professor Lumumba from Kenya. I happen to be one of your young mentees from Nigeria. In 2019, I was part of the program organized by the wives of the former president and vice president of Africa, where you came to give lecture in Abuja. I was part of the panelists, yes.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. I took pictures.
I'm happy you are keeping the faith.
Thank you so much.
Nikki, don't tire. You are mentoring these young men and women. It is not easy, but you have good young men and women. Let's keep them alive and well in the knowledge that they are the successor generation. God bless you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yeah, and I also learned about your visit to Nigeria in the last 2 days.
Yes.
Yeah, I tried to be there in Bayelsa, but it is quite unfortunate that another program got me in. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you very much. Let me now leave you. I see Chaplain there. I see Moses Okiru Ekasiba. God bless you all. And Nikki, God bless you now and always.
Thank you, Professor. Thank you so much for your time that you afforded us today. I know everybody was extremely excited. Just, if I may ask, is there anybody else that would like to say something? Dr. Caroline, I see that you are here. Dr. Caroline is from Kenya. Dr. Caroline? I don't think you can hear me. Would you like to say something? I can see you.
May I?
Yes.
Dr. Caroline, I didn't want to miss it. Okay, would you like to say something? You right
Yes,
there.
this is Andrew Williams Jr. from the United States of America. Thank you so much for all the work you've done for Kenya and the world. As you know, Sanda Ojiamba is CEO of the UN Global Compact. They have
Yes.
an African strategy from 2021 through 2023 and an American strategy. Nikki and I will be working to help her achieve that objective. I'll let Nikki know how we can connect with you to make sure that happens. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Nikki knows how to ferret me out of the woods. Thank you very much.
Wonderful.
Okay, I'll leave now. Okay, best of luck.
Hello.
Okay, just one more. Is there anybody else who would like to say something? Because Professor's got another appointment.
Dr. Nikki, can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Okay, Professor PLO Lumumba, this is Sam Takonche, a clinical psychologist and a PhD student in the clinical counseling. It is a great pleasure that I am not listening to your YouTube channel, but today you and I shall be speaking in the global world on issues of peace. And I want to appreciate Dr. Nikki for this opportunity that he brought you, but in our own panel to talk about the youth town hall alternative to conflict. And so I sincerely appreciate speaking to you from Cameroon today.
Oh, thank you very much. I wish you the very best in Yaoundé or in Douala.
I'm in Bamenda, where
You're
everything
in Bamenda. Oh,
yes.
Okay, I know. Okay, stay strong.
Thank you.
Eugene, yeah,
Yes.
there we go, Juliet. You can talk quickly.
Yes, no, thank you so much. We really appreciate you, Professor Lumumba. And I just want to say from South Africa, I work with communities and entrepreneurs to say that you are highly respected and you have a great influence in the lives, not just of young people, but also of various leaders. And as you know that you've been here and we've been honored to have you here in South Africa.
I'm actually here. I'm actually speaking from Johannesburg.
Ah. Hey, you could just be next door where I am. Are you in Sandton? Where are you?
I'm in Sandton.
Exactly. You are literally 7 minutes away from where I am.
You can see. Okay, best of luck.
No, bless you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. I wish you good deliberations and discussions. So permit me to leave now to attend to something else. God bless you.
Bless you. Bless you. Thank you, Dr. Nikki.
Okay, thank you. Eugene, can you hear me? Eugene?